Well. Good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are. It's 11:30 here in Colorado. I'm Pharmacist Ben. I want to talk today a little bit about digestive health. You guys all know that whenever I get questions about health challenges that people are dealing with, whether it's cardiovascular health challenges or autoimmune issues or skin issues or whatever they may be, I always talk about returning to the source of the interference of the biochemistry or biological system, and that source is the digestive system. This is how things get into the blood, with the exception of injecting through the skin, which of course is why I have to be really careful when you inject things through the skin. But for the most part, and for most of us, the prime source of interference with normal biochemical functioning is the digestive system. This is in a good way or in a bad way. In a good way, we need food, we need nutrition. Our cells need to have vitamins, minerals, and amino acids and fatty acids, what we call the essential nutrients, glucose, and other phytonutrients that are found in foods. So we have to eat, obviously, but the number one source of problems is that same food that is associated with keeping the body healthy. That's why we have to be so darn careful with what you put in your mouth and with what gets into your intestine. Real quickly, the intestine is located right next to the bloodstream. And when you eat a food, it goes through your digestive system. We can talk about how that happens here in a minute. And that's actually quite a fascinating process. You eat a food, it goes into your digestive system, it goes into your intestine. And from the point it gets into your intestine, the digested food, which is broken down, hopefully, into particles, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and fatty acids, and other small molecules, gets transferred into the bloodstream very carefully. This transference of food molecules, nutritional molecules from the intestine, the hollow part of the intestine, they call it the lumen, into the bloodstream is a very tightly regulated process. I think of it like immigration or customs in a new country. You can think of the blood as a country, you can think of the intestine as a country, and going from one country to another, you got to go through immigration, you got to go through customs, they ask you questions, they vet you, they make sure that you're safe, and that's what really happens at the level of the intestine. Food particles go from the lumen of the intestine into the bloodstream in a very tightly regulated fashion. However, over the course of time, as the impact of aging and nutritional deficiencies and toxicities kick in, that intestinal lining becomes inflamed. And instead of molecules getting into the bloodstream in a tightly regulated fashion, they leak into the bloodstream. They bypass security or bypass immigration or customs, and they leak into the bloodstream. This is called leaky gut. Some people call it intestinal permeability syndrome or leaky gut syndrome. A syndrome is a whole bunch of symptoms that are associated with one cause, and leaky gut syndrome can cause pretty much all the symptoms of disease. High blood pressure and inflammation and brain health issues or mental health issues and cardiovascular health issues and on and on and on. Cancer and heart disease and all the leading causes of death, even diabetes, can be linked to this problem of leaky gut and intestinal permeability. And if you understand that, you can see how important it is to patch up the gut and to prevent or to not input inflammatory toxic molecules into the digestive system so that they can inflame the intestine. Some of the most problematic molecules are gluten. Everybody knows about gluten these days, but there's also other plant defense molecules collectively referred to as lectins. Gluten and lectins can inflame the intestinal lining, leading to leaky gut. There are also a class of sugars called FODMAPs. These FODMAPs are not sweet sugars. FODMAPs is an acronym that stands for fructose oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. Just fancy words for saying sugars, not sweet sugars, but fibrous sugars. These are molecules that are found in things like pears and okra and apples and pumpkin and squash. Lots of foods that we consider to be good foods are high FODMAPs foods. And these high FODMAPs foods that contain FODMAPs, these fermentable sugars, actually the F is for fermentable now that I think about it, fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polysaccharides, they ferment. Bacteria in the intestine ferment them. They process them and release gases and various toxins. The bacteria proliferate. And this causes secretions of very inflammatory molecules, including something called histamine, which most of you have heard of, as regards antihistamines, into the bloodstream through a leaky gut. So FODMAPs foods can cause leaky gut. Plant defense molecules can cause leaky gut. Constipation and chronic constipation can lead to leaky gut issues. Fried fats can lead to leaky gut issues. Estrogen can lead to leaky gut issues, and that's a whole nother story about high levels of estrogen. There's lots of things that cause this leaky gut problem. And you can rest assured that if you have a chronic degenerative disease, and millions, perhaps hundreds of millions of Americans have chronic degenerative diseases, you have a problem with leaky gut. This is why with all health challenges, the first thing you want to do is correct digestive health issues, specifically leaky gut. Now, some of the direct causes or the biochemical causes of leaky gut include, as I said, chronic constipation, various foods like FODMAPs foods and lectins and gluten and fried fats, processed fats. But there's also a low stomach acid, which can lead to leaky gut. Low stomach acid can cause bacteria to overgrow in the intestine because stomach acid is responsible for killing bacteria. Bile is also responsible for killing bacteria. And when bile is sluggish, or you don't have a gallbladder, you're not making enough bile, or you're not making enough stomach acid, or you're taking antacids for that matter, you can this can lead to a condition where bacteria overgrow in the intestine. SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, is what they call it, and this can also exacerbate leaky gut and also cause the influx of toxins into the bloodstream. For all of these reasons, working on intestinal health, working on the health of the stomach, working on the health of the liver and gallbladder, hopefully keeping your gallbladder. And by the way, if you have gallstones, that's usually a sign that you're not processing food correctly. It's not a reason to take out your gallbladder, even though 500,000 gallbladders are removed every year. So focusing on digestive health becomes very important when you're dealing with any chronic degenerative disease. There's lots of ways to do it. I'm going to tell you some of the supplements that you can take and some of the food and dietary strategies that you can use. First and foremost, you always want to do a food diary. A food diary is where you write down what you eat, everything you eat in a notebook, and then next to the list of foods that you've eaten or anything you've ingested, you write down how you feel from a digestive system perspective. That's first and foremost. So you write down corn. I had oatmeal for breakfast, say. And then an hour later, 2 hours later, I felt a little bloated. I felt a little gassy. You write that down in your food diary. And you collect information. You chart. You gather data. You can't do an effective biochemical or health process without data. And so a food diary gives you data. So you write down everything you eat, write down how you feel from a digestive system perspective, also from a skin perspective. The digestive system and the skin are two very important barometers for what's happening inside the body in terms of inflammation and the immune system. You can also sometimes brain fog issues or mental health issues or fatigue can be involved with food intolerances or problem foods that you ingest. You write those down in a book. You just collect notes. You collect data. Sort of like you're charting, just like you're a nurse or a doctor. Nurses and doctors always chart, or even better, police, detectives, when they are trying to solve a crime, they will take notes. You always want to take notes. You always want data. So food diary gives you information, gives you data. When you find out foods, when you find certain foods that are causing digestive distress or skin problems or whatever, you eliminate those foods. That's the first thing you always want to do. And don't try to use your memory. It's really important to write things down because things go under the radar. We forget. If you write things down and you keep a journal, you'll have a record of everything you're doing, and it's much easier to spot things that you would have, under ordinary circumstances, forgotten or missed. So food diary is very important. The second thing you want to do is you want to start to use nutritional supplementation for the digestive system. And by the way, if you fast before you do a food diary, fast for 1 or 2 days, not only will the fasting be good for your digestive system, be good for your intestine, because you're going to give your intestine a break. And by the way, when you fast, your body cleans itself out. Your intestine cleans itself out. Your digestive tract cleans itself out. A lot of people will notice when they fast, they have great bowel movements because the digestive system is cleaning itself out. The body also cleans itself out in terms of the cells via a process called autophagy when you fast. And in terms of your food diary, when you fast, you'll notice things more prominently, more dramatically. If you take a couple days off food, things that have gone under the radar will become more noticeable to you. So it's a good idea to fast. It's a good idea to fast anyway regularly, but fasting before you do your food diary is a good idea. As far as nutritional supplements that you could take for the digestive system, you guys know I endorse longevity products, love longevity products, and I love the longevity company. We're always looking for people to join in as business builders. If you're interested in health and nutrition, you should reach out to us. You can reach out to us on the website that's on the caption underneath this presentation. But there's wonderful supplements that the longevity company provides for the digestive system specifically. One is called I-26. I-26 is known as hyperimmune egg. Remember those bacteria that are in the intestine that causes this condition called SIBO, which can exacerbate leaky gut and cause the secretion of various bacterial toxins into the bloodstream, even pieces of bacteria into the bloodstream. This is behind all chronic degenerative disease. Well, it turns out I-26, which is hyperimmune egg, is specifically designed to kill those excess bacteria. Hyperimmune egg is actually eggs that come from chickens, egg powder that comes from chickens who have been inoculated with antigens so that they will secrete antibodies, and these antibodies come out of the egg, and then the hyperimmune egg, the antibodies in the hyperimmune egg powder will kill those bacteria. If you have egg allergies, you may not be able to use I-26, but other than that, I-26 is a great product for dealing with leaky gut or systemic toxicity from that leaky gut. Also, probiotics. The Nightly Essence probiotics are a great probiotic supplement. Good bacteria can counteract bad bacteria. Got to be a little bit careful with probiotics if you're dealing with SIBO. So you want to start off slowly, maybe 1 or 2 Nightly Essence capsules. You don't need to take them at night with food. If you take them at night, maybe you don't necessarily need to take them with food, but it probably helps to take them with a little bit of food. And then also, we have a product called the Ultimate Microbiome, which is fiber. And like probiotics, you got to be a little bit careful with fiber because you don't want to feed those bad bacteria when you have SIBO. So start off slowly with the Ultimate Microbiome. There's another product called the Ultimate Enzymes, which I absolutely love. Digestive enzymes are very important for helping break up food in the stomach. So those little food particles, or that food is broken up into little particles. If you don't have enough digestive enzymes, bigger particles, particularly bigger particles of proteins blends of amino acids called peptides, which are can result from incompletely digested protein foods, can leak into the blood. And these peptides can also initiate immune reactions and inflammatory reactions in the blood. So using your Ultimate Enzymes from longevity can help you if you're dealing with chronic degenerative disease by breaking up those proteins into smaller particles, into amino acids, which are less inflammatory and less immunogenic than full-blown peptides. Always use a little apple cider vinegar with your Ultimate Enzymes because it takes acid to activate those enzymes. And as I said earlier, many people don't make enough stomach acid. In fact, just using apple cider vinegar with your meals can be helpful. Apple cider vinegar can help acidify the contents of the stomach and help you improve digestion of food, give you a more complete digestion of proteins specifically, and activate the enzymes. Plus, the acid from the apple cider vinegar has a little bit of an antibacterial effect. Your Ultimate Enzymes also contain bile salts for folks who are dealing with gallbladder issues or poor bile secretion. These bile salts also have antibacterial effects. And if you take your Ultimate Enzymes on an empty stomach, you can enjoy some anti-inflammatory benefits and some blood cleansing benefits. It's a lot of benefits from one supplement, and your Ultimate Enzymes from longevity are relatively inexpensive. Collagen peptides can also be helpful for strengthening an intestinal barrier. Of course, collagen peptides are great for your skin, and they're great for your joints. They're great for your blood vessels. They have multifunctional, like all nutritional supplementation, as we talked about yesterday, is multifunctional. I love a product called the Fucoid Z. Fucoid Z is a fucoidin-based capsule. Fucoidin is a polysaccharide that's found in algae. This polysaccharide is, as we say in the business, pluripotent. It has many, many benefits. And that's one of the great things about nutritional supplementation in general, as I said earlier. But this pluripotency is really exemplified by the fucoidin molecule, which is great for cleaning the blood. It's great for strengthening the blood vessels. It's great for your heart. Has anti-diabetic properties, anti-inflammatory properties. It's important for folks use it for fighting cancer. And the fact is that's what it's really known for. And if you go online and look up fucoidin and cancer, you'll get a whole bunch of studies on fucoidin and cancer. But in terms of intestinal permeability issues, fucoidin helps strengthen the intestinal lining. So you got lots of strategies for dealing with intestinal permeability issues and actually irritable bowel issues, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, celiac disease. All of these are related, and all the strategies that are important for helping protect against a leaky gut will also help you with other intestinal digestive problems, because the intestine is linked to the gallbladder and the pancreas and the stomach. You'll improve overall digestive health with these digestive health strategies. So start off with a fast, do a food diary, and then start using your longevity digestive health nutritional supplements, including I-26, Ultimate Enzymes, Ultimate Microbiome, Nightly Essence. I forgot to mention collagen peptides, of course, Fucoid Z. And I forgot to mention a couple really interesting digestive health supplements that are kind of kits or packages. One's called the Daily Digest. Daily Digest is a packet of pills that are specifically designed for digestive health. And then another way to get your digestive supplements from longevity and get your Mighty 90 essential nutrients too is with the Healthy Digestion Pack, which features all of the Mighty 90 essential nutrients that you'll find in the Healthy Start Pack, plus some digestive support supplements. You might have to add a few other things. So that's my how I think of helping folk. What I think of when I'm asked to help folks who are dealing with chronic degenerative disease symptoms. Chronic degenerative disease affects 80% of our health challenges are based in this chronic degenerative disease phenomena. And chronic degenerative diseases, this is really important what I'm going to say here, chronic degenerative diseases, these are diseases that do not heal. Under ordinary circumstances, the body doesn't degenerate or regenerate. It's a chronic degenerative disease, CDD, chronic degenerative disease, is a disease or a pathology where the body does not heal, but rather it degenerates. It gets worse and worse over time. As I said, this is 80% of our health challenges and health costs go to dealing with chronic degenerative diseases, and they all begin in the intestine with a leaky gut. And if you want to talk about the stomach and the gallbladder and the pancreas, these are organs that are upstream from the intestine, and they're also involved. But the nexus of the disease is toxicity that's getting into the bloodstream through a leaky gut. I always say all disease is cell disease, but all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. How does that blood become dirty? Well, it can become dirty through injections, but for most of us, it comes in through a leaky gut. All right, that's it for now. I am Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Thanks for listening. And I don't see any questions here. If you do have questions, you might want to just include them, just put them in the comments on your YouTube, on this YouTube video or wherever you're listening. And I'll get to, if I see your questions, I'll get to them and I can answer them either on YouTube. Some of the questions that you guys ask me are a little too complicated to just write out an answer to. As a matter of fact, somebody asked me a question yesterday on YouTube about high blood pressure. And high blood pressure, like everything else, is related to blood toxicity, problems in the blood. There's also nutritional deficiencies that are associated with hypertension. Cortisol and the stress response is related to hypertension. But the first thing is always going to be focus on the blood, focus on a leaky gut. As far as nutritional supplements for high blood pressure, the B complex is very important, the whole B complex, particularly vitamins B1 and B3. On one of these episodes, I'm going to talk about vitamin B1 because it's absolutely my favorite B vitamin and one of my favorite vitamins. It's got so many wonderful benefits. Thiamine or benfotiamine, vitamin B1. Vitamin B3 is also important as an antihypertensive. Magnesium has antihypertensive benefits. Coenzyme Q10, vitamin E have antihypertensive benefits. Warm water, immersing your body in warm water like in a hot tub or a bath or warm shower can lower your blood pressure. And of course, slow, deep, rhythmic breathing also has antihypertensive effects or benefits. And there's a couple ways that you can practice your slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. I like the Wim Hof method. You can go on YouTube and look up Wim Hof. There's also another type of breathing called the Buteyko method or Buteyko breathing. And this is a little bit different than the Wim Hof breathing, but I like Buteyko breathing as well. Wim Hof is a little deeper. Buteyko breathing is a much more gentle breathing technique, but both of them have blood pressure lowering benefits, blood pressure lowering effects. And also, by the way, if you want to pack with your Mighty 90 essential nutrients and that has antihypertensive benefits, use your longevity healthy brain and heart pack. And there was one, of course, your ultimate EFAs, ultimate essential fatty acids, also have, especially omega-3 fats, particularly omega-3 essential fatty acids have antihypertensive benefits. All right, that's it for now. We'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to try and do these every day. And then if you have questions, post them in the comments on the social media platform that you happen to be watching. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Bye for now.